On Friday, February 17, 2017, 4 days after the murders, Indiana State Police went back to the crime scene to search the area. WTHR reporter David McAnally reported the police were racing back to the crime scene around 5:55 p.m. that day on Friday, February 17th.
I'm David McAnally in Delphi. We've got state police came at a pretty good clip pulling back into the cemetery where part of this investigation into the missing girls has continued this week. So at least 3 or 4 state police units back there.
Scanner audio was released for that day. On Monday, February 27, 2017, Indiana State Police went back to the Monon High Bridge Trail.
Police are showing they're still actively investigating the murders in Delphi, nearly 3 weeks after someone killed teenagers Libby German and Abby Williams. Eyewitness News reporter Rich Van Wyk discovered that investigators went back to the crime scene to look for more evidence.
The investigation is a monumental process of elimination. Detectives believe the more people they eliminate as potential suspects, the closer they're getting to finding a killer. Once again, police return to the scene of the crime. In the 18 days since the girls were found murdered here, investigators have interviewed 1,000 people, half of them because of tips from the public.
Going out and speaking with people and marking them off the list as suspects is what's been occurring. But by doing that, we're focusing in on the people who committed this murder here in Delphi, Indiana.
The small community continues to rally behind the effort to find those responsible for killing 2 of its favorite daughters, Libby German and Abby Williams. Posters with their pictures are everywhere. Although the crime has made local and national headlines for weeks, Misty Rankin grabbed a fistful of flyers to hand out at a weekend horse meet, just in case someone somehow missed the news.
People come from all different states and different counties and things like that, and we're just trying to make sure that everybody gets them.
The plan to light up Delphi until the killer or killers are caught sold out the initial shipment of 500 bulbs in just 24 hours, a commitment that's impressed even veteran cops.
I'm not surprised by the outpouring of emotion in this area, but it is above and beyond anything I've seen in my 18 years of law enforcement.
Organizers tell me that on average, people are paying $5 for each one of these orange light bulbs. Profits will be divided among the victim's family. 500 more bulbs are on the way.
A woman talked about finding evidence on Facebook almost 2 weeks later on March 15, 2017, which aligns to the crime scene search on the 27th of February 2017. She mentioned she had found an object and it was covered in blood. She claimed she had given over her DNA and was questioned over it. Sergeant Tony Slocum was asked about it and claimed the incident was not even remotely true. Maybe to protect the information in regards to the investigation, perhaps, or the evidence was not connected to the crime after finding out from an examination. The woman swore it happened and she had a detective's card which she showed and showed the picture of the object she found. There was apparently blood on something shiny according to the poster who communicated with her. On the 8th of March 2017, Indiana State Police Superintendent Douglas G. Carter spoke to news reporter Alexis McAdams about the evidence in regards to the investigation.
Right now in Delphi, the FBI is putting together a suspect profile to help identify the killer of those 2 girls you just saw.
They hope that profile will help police bring Libby German and Abby Williams' killer to justice. Thanks for joining us tonight live at 5. I'm Dan Spiegler.
And I'm Fanchen Stinger. It is the big story right now. We are also learning more about key evidence found at the crime scene.
Fox 59's Alexis McAdams has been covering this case from the start, and she's live with more tonight on what we're learning now. Alexis?
Dan Fanchen, that's right. This is all new and exclusive information that we're bringing to you right now. We just talked with the Superintendent, Doug Carter of Indiana State Police. He tells us he's confident they're getting much closer to finding Abby and Libby's killer. And investigators are still working around the clock tonight. But we just learned from the superintendent that they have recovered a very important piece of evidence from the crime scene that is linked to the killer. That's the first time we're hearing any of the information about what was found at the crime scene. And also, this is an active and ongoing investigation, but with that key evidence and a suspect profile, police tell us they're getting closer every day to that killer, and they want him to know that. Right now, they're still going after him with the mindset that he could very well be a local. Now, the FBI profile that is in the works right now will give police a better idea of who exactly they are looking for, because they do have that voice and they do have that grainy photo, but this looks at behavioral aspects of that person. So behavioral analysts from the FBI can identify certain personality traits, behavioral traits, and lifestyle things that the suspect would have. All of that information then gives police clues to what kind of things they can be looking for when they're serving those search warrants here in Carroll County and around central Indiana. Now, we talked exclusively to Superintendent of Indiana State Police Doug Carter tonight. He tells us that they have several pieces and parts, but they're still looking for that one piece of evidence or tip that's going to crack this case.
I know that we have the human element. We have a very solid science element. We're using every capable process that we have from a scientific perspective, as everyone would expect us to, and we will continue to do that until there's nothing left to do.
Would that include DNA?
It does.
Okay. Was DNA found at the scene?
It includes DNA.
We haven't ruled out the possibility that it's a local person. Every time we can clear somebody, it gets us closer, where we're confident that somewhere in these tips that we have some valuable information. Every time we can eliminate one, we can move on to the next.
Now, family members will be speaking to us for the very first time here in Delphi tomorrow, and investigators are hoping that when the grandpa, it's Libby's grandpa that's going to be speaking to us, when he talks and people see that in the community, that somebody who may be holding back information will hear their plea. Obviously, it's going to be a very emotional time for the family, and maybe that will be the connection that somebody needs to give these police a break in the case. So maybe if they are withholding information, when they hear Libby's grandpa talk tomorrow, that's going to be the key to getting them to speak out. Obviously, those tips keep coming in. The reward keeps on growing. But police once again asking anyone who recognizes that man in the picture to please come forward. Reporting live in Delphi, I'm Alexis McAdams, Fox 59 News.
All right, Alexis, thank you so much. Meantime, in the wake of these murders in Delphi, a safety task force has now been formed to keep people walking the trails near Delphi safe.
On the evening of the 10th of March 2017, Indiana State Police went back to the crime scene. The woman who claimed she found the object with blood on it said she had spoken to an FBI agent and not ISP, and that she has no reason to lie. Sergeant Tony Slocum may have just not got the information about what had occurred. The woman had the material proof of what she had found with images and had gotten a lot of harassment from users claiming she had lied. It's speculated that maybe the item was the bullet, even though a search occurred on Bicycle Bridge Road on the 15th of February 2017 and guns were apparently taken from the home. It could be assumed they had found the bullet from Allen's probable cause affidavit on the day they had found the bodies of the girls.